It's once again time to review an AEW show, and this time we're reviewing Dynamite 28th of September 2022. It's as simple as that. That is what we're doing. That's what we're going to do. I've written notes for the first time ever when covering a wrestling show, apart from when I did it in Jesus TV for Fog Wrestling. It's a one-time deal. Let's see if AEW lived up to the hype that loads of people put up the hype, but we don't put up the hype here on Fog Wrestling. To be honest, I look forward to burying this product every single week, but I've written notes. I'm going to try and go in order of the actual show, because apparently that's the way you need to review it. I kind of see the point of that, but at the same time, if a show's good, you'll be like, it was good, just watched it out of order, rather than, I watched it out of order, so it doesn't matter if it was like Maniac 7, I watched it out of order, it's shite. You can't turn around. You'd rather watch a show out of order that's good than watch a show in order that's shit. That's the bottom line. Especially when it's wrestling, you get like an actual TV show. It's what it is, but we kick off with the Jericho Appreciation Society doing the Aew celebration. I don't get the whole hype around this, if I'm being perfectly honest. This whole group, faction, it's just a bunch of people appreciating Jericho. See this whole run Jericho's doing right now, being ROH champion, burying ROH. I actually like that. But then you've just got all these people behind him and with him that just don't even need to be there. There's this like Italian dude called Luigi making pizzas, and they're basically telling the crowd, you're not allowed any pizza. That's basically the gist of it. And then Danny Garcia turns around and says to Jericho, I don't want your presents, because Jericho gave him a present. I want to team up with Daniel Bryan to take on you and your little pet, Sammy Guevara. And then Bryan's there, and then Bryan's like, yeah, why not the best sports entertainer against the pro wrestler with the most heart? Just the most generic fucking shit, right? And then like later on, it's announced. Well, Jericho basically announces it that he's challenging Bryan to the ROH title on the October 12th, and it's like, how is Chris Jericho and Daniel Bryan fighting for the ROH title? A title that means less than this channel. And I'll tell you what, guys, this channel's not exactly The Rock's fucking Instagram when it comes to viewership. I don't get it. These two should be feuding for the world title. Even though I don't like Daniel Bryan, he's an indie jobber. He's got a bit of name value, and he got given a big Mania push, and he's had good matches with some fucking superstars in the business. Doesn't really make any sense to me, if I'm being honest about that. Next up, right, this may be one of the worst segments I've ever seen. Out comes Plastic Face Paige, and I'm just thinking at this point, what is the point of her being in the company? You can clearly you clearly tell from this segment she's not cleared to wrestle, right? So that's just one problem with it. She says, I'm back, oh, it's good to be back, and then like in the next sentence says, oh, I'm a bit nervous, I've never been in AEW before. And it's like, what are you smoking? You're not back, you've never been there, you're debuting. Oh, but she's back in the professional wrestling business. No, it doesn't work like that, man. See Sting. See when Sting debuted in 2014, not to compare Sting to Paige, but you get where I'm coming from. Did Sting's first promo be like, I'm back? No, because he was never in WWE to begin with, so that's exactly it. She just, it's honestly, I hate Paige. Basically says this is her house, then calls out, well, doesn't really call out, she basically tells the women to get out. Out comes Tony Storm leading a bunch of jobbers. These are just, the women's division in AEW is the worst thing you will ever get in a wrestling company. It's as simple as that. People talk about Katie Fick and Triple H humping a dead body, but I'd take this a million times over. Well, no, that a million times over this. Basically says it's good to see Tony Storm being utilised in a real company, and it's like, right, Paige, let's get one thing straight, right? Tony Storm is a slag, an ugly slag. It's as simple as that. You hear the name Tony Storm and you think of Lance Storm before, and that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing, because Lance Storm absolutely sucks. And it's like, good to see her utilised. She's the champion, right? Doesn't cut promos. Paige is literally out here doing, how much of a jobber does Tony Storm here? She's the champion of the division, and Paige comes out calls the women out. Tony Storm comes out, doesn't even get a word in, then has a match. That's it. I mean, could you imagine back in the day if Jericho debuted it? I don't know him and Rock get into the promo, but he calls out the guys in the back. Austin comes out with his belt, leading like 5 jobbers, and then they don't say anything, and he just has a match. You would cancel your fucking USA Network subscription. That's what you would do. That's what you would do, man. Because I just don't get it. Honestly, I don't get this. And then the constant WWE references, and then Britt Baker comes out, buries Paige for a bit, basically says hashtag I knew. It's like, what, we're just ripping off WWE at this point. Literally NXT did it the previous thing. And then Paige says, and since my new boss always listens to me, well, we're going to make this match a lumberjack match with the people that are there. Alright, so it's Serena Deeb versus Toni Storm. But back to the previous point. My previous boss didn't listen to me. Well, hold on, right? Maybe because Vince or Triple H or whoever, man, because she hasn't really been in WWE, to be fair, on the Triple H. But you get my point, right? So maybe why would Paige, like, why does Paige think when she's inactive that she's going to be able to, like, say ideas and expect Vince to listen to him? She's a fucking jobber. It's not good old JR. It's not Paul Heyman. You know, wrestling pioneers. It's stupid, slutty Paige from Norwich who hasn't got a bit of fucking charisma in her body. So why should Vince McMahon listen to her? Just because Tony Khan listens to you because he fucking fancies you doesn't mean that Vince McMahon's a bastard. I hate the constant WWE references, right? And I was about to say it needs to stop. It'll never stop. Toni Storm wins. I don't care about the match. The promo was one of the worst things I've ever heard in my fucking life. Oh, I'm nervous. Aye. Nervous. Talking about awful promos. Out comes Wheeler Yuta. Comes out, calls out MJF, basically talking. I mean, he was trying to show a bit of passion, which he got across. I get a bit, but he just sucks, man. See, honestly, on the mic, the guy is atrocious. MJF comes out, basically buries Yuta for about a minute, then turns to the commentary team, goes to Shivani, "How are you fat old prick?" And then he goes, and then MJF, right? MJF 1 minute is good, and then the next minute, he's just shit. No, he does come out with some good stuff, right? He then turns around and says to you, we've been on the independents and we came up together, and you're right. You are one of the best wrestlers in the world. But then he does spur him on about his microphone skills, right? But it's like, why on earth does he even need to turn around and say you're one of the best wrestlers in the world? He doesn't need to say that. I truly don't understand why he does come out and say that, if I'm being perfectly honest, but it is what it is. Moxley then takes on some guy called Juice. Moxley defeats him. Moxley's bleeding again. It's like, can this guy actually do a match without bleeding? The answer for that is no. He can't do a match without bleeding. Regal's on commentary. He's boring us. If we're being perfectly honest, he just, I don't know what's happened to William Regal since his AEW. Maybe it's depressed him, because you know what, guys, it's near enough depressed me, to be perfectly honest. So it is what it is. Moxley, or like I say, wins. Out comes Hangman Adam Page, and they just have a stare down, right? And you see in the past, we've seen legends stare down. Rock Austin, Hogan, Rock, you know, Austin Taker, Triple H Michaels, Triple H Rock, Triple H Austin, Kane Taker, right? Everyone does it. I'm not going to say they don't, but it seems like in AEW that's all they've got. They come out and look at each other. There's no promos. Like, they just look at each other and say a few things, and it's just awful. Then MJF is in the skybox, basically says, "Boys, you're just fighting to be the loser, because whoever wins will just lose to me." And then Wheeler Yuta attacks him from behind, and that is pretty much how this wee segment came to an end. And it's like, all right. It is what it is. We move on. The Acclaimed are backstage with Billy Gunn. Cut a promo. Don't really know why Billy Gunn's hanging out with these two, to be honest. I mean, you must feel pretty shit if you're Billy Gunn that your two sons betray you, and then you're sitting here with like a bunch of absolute jobbers, man, in the Acclaimed. I mean, the caster guy, I mean, he's alright in the mic. He is just a Poundland. You know, he is just a Poundland John Cena at the end of the day, fuckonomics, but is what it is. Matt Hardy Then comes out backstage and he's like, these two guys, like, I know it didn't work in the past, but we can reunite and we can join the Matt Harley family brigade, all that good stuff that he talks about. And it's like, alright, man, we'll do that. Don't worry about that, son. We will do that, definitely. We move on. Ricky Starks wins a squash match. Why is this even on the show? 5 seconds, man, of absolute garbage was this segment. Well, these two back to back. Honestly, but you know what? Not the good thing about this is, it is now time for your main event, and we have Chris Jericho versus Fandito for the ROH World Championship. And you know what? This was actually an alright match. I believe Fandito's broke his nose or something, because they were kept on mentioning on commentary, and the mask he was wearing was all bloody around the nose part, so that doesn't really shock me, if I'm being perfectly honest. So that's a bit shit for him. Jericho goes for a lion salt, risky, almost snapped his neck, but Fandito got back in place. Jericho, like I say, wins this match. It was actually a good match. I'm not going to bury AEW all the time. When it does something good, I will say. I mean, I honestly wish AEW was great, and it was battling with, it was like Ed and Dowdery were fucking battling with each other. You know, there were like good shows every week. But sadly, you'll never get that. It's just shite, and that's the bottom line. Jericho wins, as I mentioned earlier. Challenges Daniel Bryan, says he's gonna get rid of ROH off the face of the planet. Basically, get rid of the ring announcers, get rid of the commentators, get rid of the former world champions, and he beats up the ring announcer to end the show. And that is your AEW Dynamite review. Jericho carried this show big time. MJF was alright, and then he just undoes all his hard work by saying Wheeler Yuta is one of the best wrestlers in the world. And Paige was absolutely atrocious. Saraya shite. Saka shite. Get in the bin. It gets a 1 out of 10.